right? Okay. So we see that there's a lot of time spent on consumer experience, but often not as much time spent on employee experience. So if I ask you, what makes you stand out and what makes your client experience special, a lot of CEOs out there and um, HRs and everybody else, they're going to know what it is that makes them stand apart, right? They have a value proposition. But if I shift that question and I ask a lot of people this question, what makes your employee's life easier or harder at work? You get a lot of wiggles. People don't really know what to answer because it isn't top of mind. And yet, in order to have the best employees and best quality, it should become top of mind. So, this is an interesting statistic that I was able to run across that shows that across the country, companies have invested over $1 trillion in market research to adhere to what customer behavior needs to buy more of a certain product, right? To invest into a company. Yet only $750 million have been invested towards employee behavior. And again, going with that question of what will make the work life easier for your employees. And that is what we want to talk about. Let's find a way so that your employees feel understood. And when they feel understood, they want to stay with you. So here's something really important that I believe is that if an employee has to move away from your company because maybe they're moving to the other side of the country, you want them to remain ambassadors of your brand. If employees are working here, you want them to, if they're good employees, refer their friends to come and work at the company because now you're building a culture and a vision for them to follow. And we have seen this work well over and over again with Google and with Apple and Salesforce and many of these top companies that are finally investing their resources in that specific aspect. So when we talk about benefits, there are many benefits out there and it can get a little confusing. So let's tackle the most important ones. Employees nowadays are going to look for four different kinds of benefit depending on their generation and also depending on where they live. So you're going to look at work benefits, health benefits, financial security, and lifestyle. And lifestyles, there are some companies out there who, for instance, have a daycare center at their company so that people can bring their children and they don't have to leave as much or as soon out of work to go pick up the kids, right? Other people are offering remote work as a way, since we know that for a lot of companies, it did work during the pandemic. So being able to find a value proposition for employees to want to either come work with you or stay with you is extremely important in this current marketplace. And if you haven't read From Good to Great, it's a great book. But Jim Collins continuously talks and emphasizes how you want to find top quality people that work for you. By having top quality people that work for you, you're not going to have to invest in a ton of trainings. There's not going to be as much turnover, and you're going to be able to focus on revenue and profits. So, aside from that, what are we going to talk about today, other than the employee behavior psychology, is what kind of products can we offer, right? What kind of products can we talk about? So our specialist that's going to join us a little bit further in the webinar is going to talk about the basics. And they are the foundation, the bedrock of employee benefits. And everything can grow from there. But it's all about having the correct medical coverage, dental, taking care of your employees, knowing they're being heard, right? Their health is in great condition because you want them to stay with you for years, decades, right? Their retirement planning. A lot of people have access to 401k. Not a lot of people have access to 401ks, profit sharing plans, and things like that. We'll discuss that a little bit later, as well as financial literacy courses. This is a very new feature that companies can now have advantage of, is having someone come talk to the employees and telling them, showing them how to understand their employee benefits. But many people, and I challenge anyone here, don't know what they have. They don't know what their benefits are whatsoever. They don't even know sometimes how much they're contributing to their retirement plans. So all of those things are things we'll be able to talk about. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean to omit everything on the right column about the lifestyle benefits and things like that. And we can also talk about that during one of our calls, coming up with ideas that will really help enhance the experience of your employees when they come to work. Now, as I was mentioning a few minutes ago about benefits attracting certain types of people, every generation is going to have a different concern. Baby boomers had the privilege to have access to pensions, right? So pensions used to be very high on their priority list. Same thing with healthcare. Versus the Generation X, the millennials, they're looking more, they're not really thinking about pensions. That would be great, but most of the time pensions become obsolete. They're going to be more focused on their 401k, how to prepare for their retirements, and what are the other benefits? Can I work remotely? Can I get paid time off? Can I, is there relaxation rooms in our building? I used to work with a company out in Dallas, and I worked remotely, but I always said if I wanted to work at a headquarter, I would work there because they had, it was a stressful position working there, but they had a relaxation room where you could go. It was a small room and there was no noise. It was completely relaxing for someone to just take 5 minutes and go sit in there. They had a de-stress room with a punching bag, and they had a playroom with a cafeteria that everyone could go and spend time with together, right? And so once you went there, you really didn't want to leave. You just wanted to stay. Even me, I was like, maybe I need to relocate to Dallas because this is really great. And they really cared about what their employees wanted. And so I want to reiterate, other than the basic employee benefits, there's more than just the basics. But today we're going to start off with the foundation, and we're going to talk about why it's so important to have that. Okay. Now, top challenges that we have noticed for business owners in the US are always top of mind: hiring good quality people. Hiring, right? And it takes a lot of resources for you to go out there and promote and put Facebook ads on saying that you're looking for the right quality people. And you can use Indeed, you can use LinkedIn, you can use so many different things. But at the end of the day, if you could focus, instead of having a large quantity of mediocre employees, have a small group of high quality employees that get your company, understand where you're going, and vice versa, they're going to want to give more to the company. And so that's imperative, right? So that's why employee benefits are so valuable, because they're going to create that for you. Okay. Now, again, just to reiterate, this is how it works. You offer good benefits, people want to be with you. They see that you're invested, they'll invest back. This is a healthy relationship. So you're going to attract more talented employees. You're going to stand apart. You're going to have an increase in productivity and a decrease in retention, which means a little less training, which is always good. Lower the cost of your training, keep a healthy workforce, because you don't want them to disappear after you get a very high quality employee and all of a sudden they get sick and a year later they're not here anymore. Or you can also have favorable tax advantages, which we can also talk about. Yeah. So now let me introduce my employee benefits specialist. Now, she is a special guest for us today, and I'm very, very excited to have her on because we have worked many times on implementing employee benefits to our companies at NPC. She's been with us for over 10 years. She is bilingual, Spanish and English. She's learning French. And I know this is her burning desire inside, is speaking French one day. But she's going to go ahead and share with us what she sees in the marketplace, who are the best companies out there, and what are the step-by-steps. If you're looking to put these type of benefits into your company, what are the step-by-steps that you're going to need to implement it, and how often do you need to review it? It's not a set it up and never look at it again. These plans all need to be reviewed either annually or at least every couple of years as a fiduciary duty and as a duty to our employees. So I'm going to introduce her, and my friend Olivier, my colleague Olivier here, is also going to be participating in this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jade, very much. Hello, Joanna.
Hello.
You are here.
Hi,
We're glad to have you, and we are impatient to listen to your recommendations. So what we can do is, let's pretend I am a business owner, and I have employees, and I have questions on the different topics. So what I suggest is to start with the group insurance benefit. What exactly provide a group health insurance?
Okay, wonderful. So health insurance is going to cover you for doctors, hospitals, and pharmacy. That's what health insurance does.
Okay. And do I have to offer benefits to all of my employees, or can I choose to give the benefits to a certain category?
Okay, so benefits are going to be offered to all full-time eligible employees of the company. Those employees are able to cover their dependents should they want to, and they're going to be W-2 employees. But you are also able to offer to 1099 independent contractors if you would like to. You do not have to.
Okay. And is there a minimum of employees to access to employees' benefits? If I have 4 or 5 employees, is it enough?
Yeah, you want to have at least 4 W-2 employees, and those employees would need to enroll. Anything above that is wonderful. We can work with those sizes.
Okay, that's very clear. And beyond the price, what are the key points to compare the different carriers? How do you compare?
Okay, so insurance rates and carrier comparison is all going to be based on the census that you submit, and that's the demographics of your company. You will also include the dependents in that as well, because we want to have them quoted if you want them to be included. In Florida, the carriers are going to ask that a company contribute a minimum of 50% toward your employee-only premium for the lowest cost plan. Okay, employee-only premium, lowest cost plan. If people want to add their dependents, then they would need to pay for those 100%, unless you want to also contribute, but you do not have to.
Okay. So for topics, the second one is about dental and vision. What I understand is that dental and vision are separate from health insurance in the US. It's different in France. It's comprehensive.
Yes, and I wish I lived in France right now, because that would be wonderful to have it included in my medical insurance. But here in the United States, it is not. Dental and vision are separate, but companies do like to add that to their portfolio so that, it can accompany the medical insurance. So dental insurance is the most popular, because everybody wants to really take care of their teeth. We all have teeth, right? We want to take care of them. We want to have a pretty smile. So that's more popular than the vision. But the vision insurance is going to be for people who wear glasses and contacts. If you have great vision, you do not necessarily need a vision insurance for yourself.
Okay, it was one of my question, but generally it's more important for certain category of employee. And do I have to offer both of dental or vision, or I can pick just one, dental or vision?
Yeah, you can offer both, or you can offer just dental or just vision.
Okay. I have also a question about COBRA, and what is COBRA, and do I have responsibilities when an employee leaves the company?
Sure. So COBRA is, has a long name. I can't think of it right now, but basically what it means is that if you are a terminated employee, you are able to COBRA or continue your coverage after you leave the company. Typically, it's going to be for 18 months. There are special circumstances where it can be longer, but it's typically 18 months. You are able to COBRA your medical insurance, your dental insurance, and your vision insurance. You would end up paying for 100% of those premiums. At times, it's 102%. It depends on if the company is adding on a 2%, which companies can. So it's either 100% or 102%. There are two different types of COBRA. It depends on your group size. We have federal COBRA, which is companies that are 20 or more employees. So that you have to adhere to federal COBRA. You need to make sure that as an employer that you are letting people know about that opportunity to continue on the federal COBRA side. And then there is what is called state mini COBRA, which is employers of less than 20 employees. You need to tell the employees that you have that opportunity. However, you're not responsible for sending out notices and things like that. You just need to let them know that they contact the carriers directly should they choose. So when you have a bigger company, you have more responsibility basically on the COBRA side.
Okay. I see. Some companies propose group life insurance. How does it work, and is it enough to protect a family, for example?
So group life insurance is very popular. I get this one asked a lot of to show some quotes on it. And again, it's based on your census, your group demographic, but it is also based on job titles and salaries. You can have a group life benefit of just a flat amount like 25,000 or 50,000 that everybody would get. But you can also have one time the salary, the employee's salaries, or 1.5 times the employee's salaries. There's different things that you can do. With that said, is it enough? Sometimes it might not be enough. Usually it's not enough. That is why it's very important to speak to professionals like yourself and Jade about individual life insurance to accompany the group insurance that you're getting through your employer. Another thing is that there's many times that you're not able to take that particular life insurance with you when you leave the company, unless it is stated in the policy that there is portability or a conversion, but not all policies are going to include that, which again makes it even more important to have your own individual life insurance policy, because that will stay with you.
Okay, thank you. About the cost now, you said a few words about this, but I understood that the minimum contribution is 50%. This is a minimum that the employer has to pay, correct?
So that's a great question, actually. So that is going to be for medical insurance, the minimum is 50% of employee-only premium. Going back to dental and vision, an employer can contribute to dental and vision. They do not have to. It can be 100% voluntary. On the group life side, a basic life insurance policy is 99.9% always paid 100% by the employer. Always. It's most of the time. There's like only a little chance that employers are not paying it because it's so cost effective. It does not cost the employer very much to cover all the employees for a small life insurance policy through the group side. So it is paid by them for all employees.
Okay. Another topic is also the disability group insurance. If I understood, you can provide short-term or long-term disability. What is the difference, and is it so important?
Yes. Disability insurance to me is right up there with the health insurance. It is one of the most important that you can offer to your company. It is the type of insurance that will continue to pay the employee if they are hurt through an accident or a sickness. There's two different types, as you mentioned. There's short-term and then there's long-term. Both of them will typically cover 60% of your salary up to a specific amount, max amount. It depends on the policy. Short-term disability is going to cover you for the first 3 months, typically 12 or 13 weeks, okay? Then after that time is when long-term disability is going to start kicking in after 90 days, okay? And that will continue on until Social Security normal retirement age. It's based on the chart. So it depends, it could be 65, 65, 66, 67, depends on when you're born. But that one will continue on if you're so disabled that you cannot work until that time. Okay.
Okay. So in a few minutes, you provided a lot of information. Let's say that I want to implement a benefit a plan for my employee. What is the application process? How long does it take?
Okay, so I've mentioned a couple of times the census. The census is my guide. It's the only way that we can get everybody quotes. So I'm going to need your census. I'm going to need an idea of what benefits that you are looking for. All of that information will go out to the carriers. We work with all of the major carriers that are available for the specific type of benefits nationwide. And we'll get that all back together, get the quotes, look at plans, compare, put a presentation together for you, set up a meeting, review and make sure that you completely understand everything that has been presented to you, and go from there, come up with a plan to see how we can move forward. Typically, a process like that is going to take several weeks. In group benefits, we work several months in advance. So to give you an example, I'm working on July 1st effective dates, but also August 1st effective dates. I typically like to work 2 months in advance just because I like to have enough time for everything. But it doesn't necessarily take that long. It's just to be prepared and make sure that we submit everything in enough time for the carriers to process.
Okay, thank you. As things can change in the company, I don't want to be stuck. So how can I change, and when can I change the benefits? Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible. So on a regular basis, and Jade touched upon this earlier in the presentation, that you want to review, you want to do an annual review, sometimes every 2 years. Medical insurance, you want to review every year because it is a 12-month contract. With that said, if there's hardships or there's something going on, you are able to cancel the benefits with a 30-day written notice in advance. Okay, but if you're going to stay with them, we want to review them every single year to make sure that you're still in the right carrier with the right rates, with the right plans, and all of those things. Some of the other insurances will hold the rates for 2 years, so we don't have to review them as much, but medical every year should be reviewed.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joanna. In conclusion, maybe you have a story to share with us, a nice story about benefits you made for a company recently.
Okay, yeah, sure. This one is actually one of my favorites. This happened earlier in the year, around March. I had a company that I had their medical insurance, and we moved them over to Florida Blue from United Healthcare. We were able to enhance their plans, and they were paying around the same amount as they were paying with United Healthcare. Everybody was very, very happy. The owner came to me and said, can you review my short-term disability plan that I pay for all of my employees with Aflac? I said, absolutely. I will look at this for you. He sent me all of the information that I needed, and I took a deep dive, went out to the carriers, but I didn't only ask for short-term disability to match what he was asking me. I also requested group life insurance quotes and long-term disability quotes. I just wanted to see what that would look like for them. And when everything came back, I was actually kind of shocked because I was able to get them through a company called The Hartford, a $25,000 life insurance policy for all of their employees. the short-term disability policy, very similar to what they had, if not better, and long-term disability, all 100% employer paid for all their employees for less than what they were already paying with AFLAC for just short-term disability. So less, 3 lines of coverage instead of just 1, just because he said, review this and tell me if this is okay or if it's not. And not only was he super, super happy, but the employees couldn't believe that they are now going to get $25,000 of coverage for life, short-term and long-term disability. So that is definitely one of the highlights of every year that I've been doing this, because that really, really shocked me in a very good way.
Okay. Thank you very much for your explanation. It's very, very useful. So now, Jade, back to you, and
Okay.
just a few things about the 401k, because many employers and employee like this product. And can you share with us a few information about it?
Absolutely. Okay, everyone. Hi, I'm back. Before I move forward, I did see a couple of questions coming up on the chat, perhaps for Joanna. Charles, I don't have access to the chat. Is there anything that we need to bring up?
Right now, so far, so good, I believe. I asked people to drop questions in the chat if they have any, and so far, no questions.
Fantastic. Okay, want to make sure everyone is seen and understood. Okay, so here we are. We're talking about 401k, which is another part of the puzzle. And thank you, Joanna, for your participation. When we look at your as 401ks were introduced to us back in 1978. And they've been in the workplace for a very long time, but not a lot of people have access to it, which we'll talk about. But they are employer-sponsored retirement plans that employees have access to, and they have the ability to put their pre-tax earned money into a retirement plan. Now, they can be pre-tax or they can be after tax, depending on if you have a 401k or a Roth 401k. But the benefit is that when you implement a 401k to your employees, they will have that option on their own. So there's a chastity where once you have it in, they select where they want to put their money. However, contributions that are matched by the employer come from participating within the 401k traditional. Okay. Now, there are many reasons why a 401k, as well as a profit sharing plan, can help both the employer and the employees. For one, employers can also take advantage of the 401ks, the matches, and the contributions, right? So currently the contributions for a 401k is $19,500, but then if you're over 50, you can actually also put in a catch-up amount of $6,000 a year, and there's also a match. So everyone has access to that benefit once it's implemented. Profit sharings are also really good for the employer to have, but that's going to be a different call that we will do. If you're interested, let us know and we can take a deep dive into how 401k work and how profit sharing works. Also for the employer, if you do not have a 401k yet in place and you want to put one in, the IRS is very much an advocate of this plan, and they will give tax credits for startup costs as well as tax deduction benefits. So either or, depending on how far along you are in the implementation of a 401k. So when we look at our consumer spending and when we look at our employee behavior, many of the people of all generations are not the best savers. Many of us are spenders. So the benefit of offering a 401k to an employee, other than letting them know that you care about them enough to look at their retirement, is also for the fact that you're telling them, okay, here's a way for you to learn to save, right? Don't spend all of your money today, put a little bit away. And again, that is not something that a lot of people want to do. Sometimes they feel like there's a loss of their income, but really, if you can teach them how this is going to help them long term, you're going to see that this really going to give them peace of mind. So just to give you an idea of how having a 401k is going to set you apart from other employers, is currently, if we look at the population, only 50% of population currently has access to a 401k plan to start off with. Okay, so just by putting one as one of your benefits, you're already setting yourself apart. Now, on top of that, again, many people are not well educated on how their finances work. So, unfortunately, only a few are taking full advantage of their 401k because they might be lazy, they might get overwhelmed. They're telling them to go to a website, it has 15 different checkboxes, and they don't know what to do. So analysis, paralysis by analysis happens all the time, right? They see it, they don't understand where their money is going, stock, bonds, cash, mutual funds. It's very overwhelming. And so when you are going to implement a 401k, it's very important that you also follow through with an educational course that's going to help them understand what it is, how it'll help them, and perhaps even set up a one-on-one with an advisor that can explain to them the best choices for them, right? Now, a 401k is only a part of someone's retirement puzzle. It isn't the end all and be all. So it comes with all of the other group benefits that Joanna has offered and potentially more. Really depends on the individual, their family, and their circumstances. But for the sake of today's presentation, when we're looking at helping our employees to want to keep them with us or to use it as a marketing tool, again, one thing that we are able to do for them on top of just setting it up, which does have that tax credit ability, it's also having continuous financial literacy courses. And that is something that we offer to all of our employers who do their 401k and their benefits with us, is we're able to come to your location and either do live seminars or one-on-one meetings with your employees so that they can understand all their benefits. So this is going to really address this part right here, is that even with the 401k in place and everything else in place, we still have found that only 11% of all of these people who have a 401k feel like they're saving enough for their retirement, right? And so we're here to really help them understand that. And that's pretty much how that's how much I want to get involved in this conversation today. Now, I know that you had some questions for me, Olivier, that people had asked before. So let me address some of these before I continue.
Yeah, but the 401k, a few questions. What are the difference between the classic 401k and the Roth 401k?
Okay, so the classic 401k, traditional 401k is where you'll find the match. So an employee can match 3%, 5%, whatever they want. Of what is contributed into by the employee. Okay, the money that's in there will grow tax deferred, and taxes will be paid on the back end. So everything can grow during that period, whether 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or whatever, until 59 and a half. Okay, now a Roth 401k, which is another option, will have the ability to put in after tax money, okay, into your plan.
Okay, thank you. I know that this topic deserves a whole presentation, but I have another question. What option do I have if I leave the company?
You can take it with you and you can roll it over into a different plan that's also qualified.
Okay, thank you. Right now, no more questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. That was short. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to.
Yes, we actually have a couple questions, Jade. If you would like to answer them now.
Sure.
So the first one is there solutions for small businesses with less than 4 employees, for full-time employees?
That for employee benefits, I think that's more of a Joanna question.
Yeah.
Joanna?
Yeah, so there is. We just have to make sure that the employees are W-2 employees and that it's not a husband and a wife. But
Okay.
there is.
Okay, awesome. Another question, and this one is a bit more complicated, is since the minimum wage salary is going to be raised in Florida in the next couple of years and to double, I think it's going to be at 16 in 2026, I believe. Is there solutions, because 50% per month is going to increase a lot then? Is there any solutions for that, or is that something that we're going to have to get used to, kind of? Like pay more.
Joanna or me?
Joanna? Oh,
We're talking about the employer contribution.
Yes, yes. Since the employer has to put at least 50%, and that the salary of employee is going to increase in the next couple of years very highly, is there solutions to avoid paying a lot over a long time and all that, or is there other solutions to be put in place?
So I don't know if the carriers are gonna change and say that it's not a minimum of the 50%. That I don't know. I know that in other states, this is a Florida thing, but in other states, for example, I think New Jersey, it's lower. So it's state specific. It's state specific.
Okay.
Yeah, but in Florida, they're asking you to contribute that specific amount, and usually the average that I see, just so everybody knows, it's 75% of the employee only premium. That's really average, and most of the companies are going to want to go. They can go as low as 50 to obviously save some money and things like that, but typically I see 75% of that.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I think that was it for the questions I had. So I want to say a very big thank you to Jade and Olivier. You have their contact information currently at the screen, and you can even scan the little QR code here to take an appointment directly with Jade. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we look forward to organizing a future webinar again with you, a third one.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.